have a pleasure to introduce Mr. Richard Higgins today. He is not only a revolutionary expert in composting systems, but Richard has a lot of stories to share. Richard, you've set up a charity and you're open to a lot of projects, and you've also had your involvement in Africa. Can you please tell us a bit about yourself and about that, and what has led you into the Good Gardeners International?
Yeah, for sure. Previously, I was just a Facebook page for a long time, and surfing the internet about this subject, which I began work on in 1995, I discovered the group, the Good Gardeners. It was called the Good Gardeners Association, started in Stroud. And I spoke to the people there and wrote a few articles for their magazine. They had a little magazine they used to do. And they said, well, where do you live? So I said, up in Arkley, which is just over the A1 from Arkley, where I was near Mill Hill. And they said, oh, you better come and see us, because the directors of the Good Gardeners have moved to Arkley, and they had some enormous fruit gardens and all sorts of things going on. And I went there, and he said, well, you better join the Good Gardeners. So I did. And after some time, after some years of being a trustee, they made me a trustee. I got invited to what appeared to be the last meeting of the Good Gardeners in the Arkley Golf Club. So I went along, and there was only 2 or 3 of us there, and I was taking the minutes. And the director said, who was Mr. Cheryl Cooper, you better take over the Good Gardeners, because I'm retiring now. We don't really want to close it down. It's been running for just nigh on 60 years. And they had over 4,000 members with schools, colleges, overseas visitors, all kinds of members like that. So I said, sure. He said, well, you've got a little farm down there at Well End, and we'll come and visit it. But yeah, it'd be very good if you could take it over, because you seem to be the most active chap around at this time.
Wow, so you're not only doing good work for the environment, but you're also an educational platform.
That's right. That's right. They were teaching in schools and colleges. Their magazines reflected that. And so I started doing that with the work that I was doing, because I brought in the work of Albert Howard from previous century. He was knighted, Sir Albert, for his achievements on pest and disease prevention in all kinds of crops internationally. And there's something the Good Gardeners hadn't heard about. And their system of fertility making, Howard's system of fertility making, was revolutionary and was researched from the Far East. So I brought that into the Good Gardeners, you see, in 1995.
Wow, you certainly have a vast majority of impressive knowledge to share. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What brought you into this place of your interest of gardening and the revolutionary composting system?
Well, my father was a farmer, Somerset farmer, a place called Backwell Hill was the farm, and it was halfway between Weston-super-Mare and Bristol.
Oh, wow.
So we used to go to Weston-super-Mare a lot, and oddly enough, I've just found that on top of the hill, there was a research station called Long Ashton Research Station, and one of the chaps I've just written to studied there and developed his varieties of willow, of which there's over 40 varieties of willow. And he perfected or named some species that do particular things we want to use on our demo farm now.
Yeah, I love Weston-super-Mare. I bet it did look as a way different back then. But yeah, there's so much to explore, and it's fascinating how you've come up with your own composting system and how you got connected with Good Gardens International. I'd love to hear more about your composting system and what your mission for the world is. There's been so many projects you've been involved with. I've heard you've just been building a tiny home in the eco village in South Wales, and I'd love to hear about all of that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we've got the farm now. We've just sent off our papers to the land registry, and there's a group of us. There's actually 70 acres on this farm, but
Wow.
we're splitting it into portions of, say, 4 or 5 owners to make applications for permitted development. Or some people may go down the route of, um, you know, where you live on the land. What's that called when you I forget the name of it now.
A seasonal worker is a
No, the when you can live there and you get permission to build a house.
oh, are you perhaps talking about One Planet Development
Yeah,
Project in Wales?
you could go for that, but a group of us has decided to do permitted development because it suits us, and so that's what we're going for. And we're into production. We've actually set up our little farm there, and we've had 2 films sort of showings or editions of making films this summer on the farm, and
Oh,
we
wow.
put out one podcast already with a chap called Richard Vobes, which was very successful, and people were bringing up from that. So podcasting is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, that's great. I'm so grateful for you to be here with us today, and you've got so much great knowledge to share, and we definitely need to share it with the world. So, can you tell us more about your composting system? It's completely carbon neutral, and I'm just going to refer to what the Good Gardener's website says, and it does sound a little bit scientific to me, so I'm going to ask you to decode it for me, please. Superfast HH-2, 3, and 4 products are based on specific fungi and bacteria and transform all forms of organic waste into shop-ready fertilizer. Can you please tell me more about this process?
Yeah, well, this is that wording's based on Howard's work because it's not an ordinary composting system. I've been looking at composting systems since 1995, and this is completely different. And I only ever met one person who was doing this. Actually, it was in Haiti when we went to the Haiti earthquake.
Wow.
We are with our system. We were invited actually by a vegan group in New York who set up the facility for us to go to Haiti. And there was one lady there on the mountain who had a farm, and she was doing the composting system of Howard, which involves animals. So she had a horse. She had one horse there just to collect the dung, right? They probably read, I don't know if they rode the horse, but it was there in a field and they collected the dung. They were making the Howard compost, but she was only growing trees in seedlings, you see, in pots. That's all she was doing. She wasn't growing any veg. She wasn't selling any compost. And that was my first meeting with anyone who had anything to do with Howard in the practical field. So I was amazed. And we got 2 videos of, well, she's on 2 of the videos. One's particularly about her farm on our YouTube channel. So that's another thing
Mm,
that viewed.
That's
But Howard's work is about fungi and bacteria, particularly. And this is one of his books, as you can see
yeah.
here.
What is it called?
And it specializes in the health, you see. So the health aspect of growing food with the right fungi and bacteria is completely different to ordinary organic food,
Oh, let me
you
just
see.
make a note of that. So this is Howard's book called Farming, and would you
Yeah,
bring up
farming
the
and gardening for
question?
health or disease.
Oh, wow. Okay. Uh-huh.
See,
Yeah.
so there was a difference
And that,
between growing food this way and ordinary organic farming.
wow. I mean, it's fascinating and uplifting. You've helped during the Haiti earthquake crisis, and you've been helping in Africa as well. From what I've heard, you're building your tiny homes. You are involved in glamping, composting, which is just such an important matter to solve nowadays. And you're involved in your composting system. Now, I've heard that the crops are growing much faster with what you've done. Could you tell us a little bit about what your system, how is it different, how is it unique from other ones without spilling the secret completely?
Yeah, well, it's basically uh, for the first time in 100 years, an update of what they used to call the New Zealand composters, right, which were just pallets, square pallets with slats like that. And this is an updated system. It's an enclosed system, you see.
Wow.
This was our first model. This was a fiberglass model.
Uh-huh.
And they're cubic meter each. And, they because they're enclosed and insulated and they've got the right air vents, they increase the speed of the composting and facilitate the growth of fungi, you see, which is the all-important feature of the best type of compost, you see.
Oh, wow.
So that's what's so special about it.
I bet it's going to massively increase the efficiency of the farm. You're just starting in, what is it called? Edible forest. Yeah, is that right? But you're also sharing the formula with other farmers and growers, so it could be used in someone's backyard as well as on a big scale. Is that right?
Yeah, when you buy the system, right? We've got our marketing platform organized, and when you buy the system, you get the manual. You see the operator's manual that comes with it.
That looks beautiful. Yeah.
That's for the.
So this is a great solution for anyone who's impatient to have their carrots ready for the next season. This is your formula. Richard is going to sort you out. So how do you access this? How does it work?
Well, it's from our website. Our website is called Good Gardeners International, and it's now linked to various other websites. And we have partners in Devon, and we've got partners in Norway, actually, who sponsored us to go to Africa.
Oh, wow.
They took us to 3 countries in Africa, and we actually won a contract called an MOU, which is a Memorandum of Understanding with the Save the Children charity.
Yes.
Mozambique. And they wanted the system in 3 locations across Mozambique and sent us all the information on A4 sheets, very small print. You will benefit this group, these people, these villages like this. Fascinating. They really grasped it straight away because they're serious, obviously one of the largest charities in the world, and they've been at it for years. So they knew what we were talking about.
Yes, they are certainly very well known and widespread, and that's great. You made such a profound connection, and so you're working on a large scale. You also want to share your knowledge with other people, and your system is widely accessible on your website. So if I was just everyday John Smith and I want to buy your system for my own garden, or what do I need to have in order to carry on? Do I need my own supplies, or do you provide everything?
Oh yeah, well you need the supply of organic matter. You see, so oddly enough, we just sold the system to a gardener in Hay on Wye, and they had a very small garden, which was probably about 3 times the size of this office, and I couldn't believe how small it was. But they were so bent on getting this system because it stops slugs, snails, caterpillars.
Oh wow, it stops that as well
in the garden, you see. And so I delivered it up there and I said, oh, you've got a great big fence, and it won't go through the gate because it's 1 meter wide. And the guy got hold because they come packed one inside the other. And we took them out and he just picked it up and he lifted it up and was going to put it over the fence. He had 2 bits of wood, put it over the fence.
Yeah, so I presume you deliver all over the UK as well, or
they're made of aluminium, so they're quite light and they're very much more durable than fiberglass. Actually, aluminium is one of the best materials, sustainably mined and all that sort of thing, and it gives it a longer lifespan.
Absolutely. Yeah, and did it work?
Oh yeah. They were composting grape waste because they didn't want the flies. They said the flies that come from grape waste, all sorts of little flies, was really annoying in their garden. And so this system is fly-proof and rat-proof.
Yeah, there's no problem with that because it's perfectly sealed, and you can even have it in the middle of the city. And what a great favor we're doing to our planet and environment. Yeah, I'm looking forward. So is that something you deliver door to door? Is that something one has to collect themselves?
No, we ship it. If it's local, I can deliver it myself.
Hmm.
But we use a shipping company across the UK, and
Yeah.
we use an international shipping company to go overseas. We've got orders coming from New Zealand now, and
Mm. Mm.
just got a confirmation of one in Lancashire, I believe.
Wow. And you provide full instruction with that on how to operate and
Yeah, that manual includes a 32 color page manual with everything in it that you get. So, that's what you need to have.
wow, that's great. I'm looking forward to spreading word about it to my friends. I've not been great with gardening, but I'm getting there, and I really want to grow my own veg, and I believe this is the future. We really want to grow our own food. The food in the supermarkets is not the same quality anymore, and especially in the bigger cities, it's just such a pleasure as well to grow your own food and utilize waste of whatever sort works best for you. So going forward with this, so in the long run, I mean, you're doing a lot of great things, Richard, but what is your main agenda at the moment? What is your main mission with how you are now?
Well, because since COVID came along, 2021, 22, we've not gone anywhere. We've not been abroad. The contract with the Save the Children was established in 2019,
Yeah, that slowed all of us down, really.
early 2019. And of course, since then, all the staff in these NGOs change. They don't stick around too long, it seems to me. So it's a whole load of new staff now. And our partners in Norway's Norgesvel,
Mm.
the oldest charity in the world, incidentally, and their top man has been to visit my farms at least twice, 3 times, I believe, because they're very interested in what we do to help their people. They work in East Africa.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're
So
going to revolutionize the world,
we want to
you
reestablish
know?
connection with with the Save the Children, but there's so much war and problems at the moment that it's more difficult to travel than it was, and this is the thing. So we have different agents who can go over there in different places to teach the system.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're okay with gardening to some degree and plant growing, you don't even need a teacher. You can just use the manual and take it from there. And we say it's even better if you're not a professional farmer, because all the science you've learned with professional farming doesn't really apply. It's not necessary in this system.
Hmm. And Richard, can I ask you, in the long career that you've had, has there been any political issues that you've had looking to spread your knowledge in regards to gardening or implementing your systems? Or have the governments rather been responding positively to what you're implementing?
Well, they haven't. No, they haven't been responding positively. I did a broadcast on Radio 4 Farming Today, right, at the time of the controversy about GM farming, which was big. There was a demonstration at Rothamsted, if you've heard of that, Rothamsted Research Station at Harpenden, that's near St Albans. And we were in Mill Hill, so it was just up the road for us.
No. Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, I got a call one day from a group who are a band, and they're called Seize the Day. And they said, "Oh, come up to this demonstration." They'd seen our website, and it'll be a demo in the field there, and all kinds of police will be there because they're trying to go in and rip up the GM crops that they're trialing in their fields there. You see.
GM crops.
Yeah, so I went up there and I spoke to the head chap of the band, and in sort of like 20 minutes, he had me on stage, their little stage, and a big group of people, and that was recorded. That was on Facebook actually, so that was nice. Still there.
Things just escalated. So let me get a grip on what you've just said. So, what are GM crops? We're not talking about genetically modified
Yep,
crops, are we?
GM crops. That's what it
Mhm.
means. And the talk was about the fact that in Haiti, where we'd just come back from, in 2010, we were in Haiti, and we come back from there, and they burnt all the GM crops on the dock in Haiti.
Oh, wow.
The Americans had sent them, and they didn't want them, because what it does is that variety of crops will outdo your own variety of crops. In other words, it will contaminate it with the GM,
Absolutely.
you see, and they
Yeah.
don't want that. They didn't want that. And what's been happening in America is the GM people who have patented their seeds are saying that a farmer is breaking the law because he's got it contaminated into his crop.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
Not allowed to
yes.
do that, and it's not his fault. The wind's blowing; they're wind-pollinated crops grains.
Cross-pollinating. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you want to keep your crops as pure as possible and preferably organic. And once you contaminate that, how long could it take to undo that?
Oh, well, it happens. I don't know, a year or two. But the point is, the court cases went the other way, and there were many winning court cases of farmers suing Monsanto.
Hmm.
Yeah. So trying to patent crops, as your own is a very dodgy thing to do, And Vandana Shiva, who is very big in the East and comes to the West a lot as well, she's given us a big like on our Facebook page, which is Good Gardeners International, Good Gardeners INTL, we call it. And she knows about our system because it originated from India. So, she's very favourable to that. And I'd like to meet her one day. She's in England now and again.
Wow, it'd be great to have her on the podcast one day, and perhaps she could share her insight with us as well. Richard, I've been meaning to ask this question for ages, and I'm feeling like you're the best person to ask. Is genetically modified food always necessarily bad for you? What is your insights on that?
Well, the effects of eating it, they
Okay.
don't know because it hasn't been trialed long enough to find
Mm.
out what it does. But as far as the pests and disease go, they know that, for instance, the pigweed, giant pigweed, which they have a insecticide to deal with, sorry, a pesticide to deal with that. The pigweed outranks the pesticide and grows bigger and bigger and bigger. So it doesn't work in that way. You have to put more and more of it on. And in India, there was something like 250,000 farmers committed suicide because of GM crops. Now, that sounds a fantastically large number, but India is a fantastically highly populated country.
With a lot of farmers, yeah, but
It's
still,
growing,
that's really sad.
second
Yeah.
fastest
How
growing
did all of this
nation.
happen?
Yeah, well, so they had this problem, and they didn't want GM crops. So it's a battle between people like Monsanto, Bayer Crop Science, promoting these things, and ordinary gene selection, natural gene selection that farmers have been doing for thousands of years through breeding their own crops, uh,
Yeah.
climate in a natural way, and these groups, Monsanto.
So, how would you say what is the best solution to stop all of that? I mean, apart from spreading good knowledge, do you think that it's all down to consumers as well, like what we choose to buy and eat ourselves? How would
Well,
you?
it is consumers, of course, can cause what they call the tipping point. So if enough people don't buy GM crops,
Mm-hmm.
the market just goes. You see, it's like
Mm.
anything. It's like a vaccine. If enough people don't want it, they can't do it. You
There's
know.
not going to be a need for it. Yeah.
So it's the
No.
same with anything. It's the same with anything. It's called the tipping point, and that's
Mm.
the most powerful thing.
Mm. That sounds promising. I mean, we do need to spread the knowledge and yeah, make podcasts like these as regular and powerful as possible. Just to nicely finish off, complete beginner in regards to gardening and all of this nutrition wise. I'd love to grow my own veg. What is the number one tip you could give me today in regards to I mean, yeah. What is the best way to start? I have
Well,
my backyard. I have potential there, but I don't know what to do with it
yeah.
first. What's the
Well,
best
we
way to
sent
start?
we sent 2 or 3 bags, big bags, 15-kilo bags, to Monty Don, on his program, and Gardening World, Gardener's World, and he didn't reply. But the next time I turned the radio on, I heard that he was saying, if you put compost on the ground over the winter, just an inch deep, leave it for 3 months, and then plant into it, that is the best thing you can do for any soil type.
Oh, wow. So now is the time I want to do it.
So but he didn't mention the good gardeners. So we wrote on Twitter, thank you very much, Monty Don, for talking about compost that we sent you.
Oh, copyright.
So, this is what you have to do, because you have to blow your own trumpet these days, because if you don't, nobody else is really going to do it for you.
Exactly.
Unless they're followers of what you do, which is great. They are increasing.
Yeah, 100%. And have I got a big enough garden? 1 acre is.
Oh yeah, 1 acre is fantastic.
Is there any minimums or?
No. I mean, I would say this very small garden in Ross, where was it? Hay on Wye.
Yeah.
They were using the system, and you see, you can sell the compost. That's what's so good. We have a whole bagging system, labeling system, and in 90 days it can be sold.
Oh wow, yeah, you can sell it as well.
The equipment pays for itself in 1 year if you sell it at the price we sell it at, which means, that's very good. That's very good economy.
Yeah, you could sell the compost to local gardeners or community where you live.
We're always sold out. We sold out all the time. Every batch we make, every summer we make a few tons.
Okay.
And we didn't have a place until we had the Pontypridd farm during COVID. So we went out of stock, and then we went and made a whole load during 2022. And now we have, 23, really early 23. And we have it back on the market again, but that's all sold out now. So it goes very quickly.
Oh wow, that's amazing. They say tomatoes are the easiest to start with, so perhaps I can just roll with that. And I mean, with how Edible Forest is progressing, I might be able to source my seeds there soon. They're looking to start organic seed banks. So, yeah, wow, thank you for sharing all your wisdom with us today, Richard, and I'm looking forward to finding out more next time.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely fine. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be keeping us posted, and looking forward to speaking to you soon.
Okay, very good.